Hello everybody, it's Philly Kuts with another Hump Day Haul, number 66. The order 66 for the Philly Kuts Hump Day Haul. It's Wednesday, folks. New comic book release day. Every week I get together with you guys and I talk about the new comics that I get. No big whoop. Can you believe it? It is here this week. Tomorrow night, actually, in some places at around this time. You're going to be able to see Star Wars, The Force Awakens. The wait is over, folks. I'm facing a dilemma, a man-child dilemma. I've yet to pre-order or purchase any tickets for this movie, man. But I know that there are tickets still available where I am in Albany, New York, Capital District. I can still get some reserved seating for some tickets for this up in Saratoga, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm really torn. I'm wicked torn by this. Are you guys going? I want to know. I would love to know who's going to be going to see this movie on Friday or even Thursday night, you know, one of the showings on Thursday night. What do you guys think, man? I'm predicting that this is going to eventually become top grossing movie of all time. I just see it happening. I just read an interesting article actually in Forbes online, Forbes magazine, if you want to check it out. Scott Mendelson writes a very, very interesting article, gives a whole bunch of great statistics regarding, you know, opening weekends and predictions. Here's the final screen count. Walt Disney released this, okay? This is officially from Walt Disney. The Force Awakens is going to be released on 4,100 plus theaters in 3,300 different locations, 3D locations included. A record 392 IMAX screens, 13 of which are in that 70mm format, which I am pondering about going to see Star Wars in. I believe they have one such theater in New York City, which I may do a trip on. Hey, look, I'm already knowing that I'm going to see this movie more than once. I'm probably going to see it, if I do decide to see it this weekend, be it Friday or Saturday. I'm going with my girlfriend. That's probably who I'm going to be seeing it first. I've been priming Sarah, believe it or not. Never watched any Star Wars movies as a child. None of them, which is a shock to me. So we've already watched a few of them. I've shown her Star Wars. I've shown her Empire Strikes Back. I was going to get ready to show her Return of the Jedi. I actually only own Episode 3 on DVD. I don't even have the first two, The Phantom Menace, and I don't even remember what the other one was. Clone Wars, right? Forgettable movies, you know, compared to the original trilogy. But I've been priming her, getting her ready for Star Wars. I don't know what the hell she watched as a child. I think she used to watch, you know, shit like Coal Miner's Daughter and fucking Yentl, you know, Barbara Streisand shit, you know, shit like that. I don't know, maybe a Cher Mermaids movie. I don't know what she was watching when she was young, but it wasn't Star Wars. And then I'm going to be seeing it with my brother, Choi. Definitely going to go see it with him. And then I'm going to see it with my friend Marty from work. I want to see it in different formats. I certainly want to see it in IMAX 3D. I'm probably going to have to see it in regular screen with my girlfriend because she gets like motion sickness or something. When she tries to watch a 3D movie, she has to take like Dramamine or something, Dramamine, to help with the motion sickness. Bizarre. But believe it or not, okay, so 4,100 plus screens. That's not the most. Jurassic World rather, of this year was released in 4,274 theaters and it earned $208.8 million its opening weekend. So this guy breaks down the math. He says in order for Star Wars Force Awakens to break that figure, it's going to have to average $50,591 per theater. That would be in order for it to make $208.9 million to take the record for opening weekend. Now, in a December, the movie that holds the record for an opening weekend in December is actually The Hobbit. The first Hobbit, it ended up making, I think, 84 or 85 million. I think it's going to easily surpass that. In fact, this guy's predicting that this may happen even on Thursday night, that it could make over that amount. Now, remember, Avatar, which was also released in December, I forget when, but it didn't even come close for some reason to these figures. But that eventually went on to be the highest grossing film of all time, I believe. So I guess we're going to see what's going to happen with Star Wars. It's going to be a situation where it makes most of its money primarily on that front end, on that opening weekend. Or is it going to be something that, you know, kind of accumulates more over the long term on the back end of the movie, kind of like what Avatar did? I think it's going to have a monster opening weekend. The shit today, earlier today around noon, I started checking Rotten Tomatoes. It got a 97. Right now, at the time of me filming this, at 8:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of the Empire State, New York, you check Rotten Tomatoes right now, and it's clocking in at a 94%. Surprisingly, the worst review that I saw was actually written by Forbes as well. They kind of said that, you know, characterization was a bit sacrificed, and, you know, there was a lot of gratuitous fan service, which we're all looking for, which is what we all want, right? I don't see how they could complain about that. When you watch the preview to this movie, can you not tell me if you were a Star Wars fan from childhood, when you saw that preview, when you saw Han Solo, Harrison Ford, and Chewbacca on that screen, that you didn't get like a lump in your throat? That like moved me, man. That moved me. And just seeing that sold me on knowing that J.J. Abrams was going to do this film justice. I'm one of the people that thought that he did very well with Star Trek even. I thought he brought Star Trek into the modern era, and I really enjoyed those two movies. And it was a common complaint, too, that, you know, J.J. sacrificed some, you know, deep characterizations and character development for the sake of action, but I'm okay with that. And I'm certainly going to be okay with that with this film. So what do you think, guys? How many times are you going to see this movie? When are you going? What do you think I should do? Perhaps if enough people say, Phil, just go, try to get tickets. I mean, this is going to be an event. My girlfriend's dropping hints to me that, like, she's never been to a big, major movie, you know, on an opening weekend. You know, I've done it before. I've been to Lord of the Rings on its opening weekend. That was huge. And then I went to the Two Towers on its opening weekend, which was huge. It was a lot of fun. You know, people dressed up, totally geeked out. I'm into that kind of stuff. But it's also like, I don't know. Part of me, as I get older, too, you don't like dealing with the big crowds as much, you know? All right, let's get going with the new books. Hey, go to your shop. You may be able to score this free Star Wars preview. Kind of goes through what series have been printed so far, and it kind of gives you a clue as to what new series are coming out. Most notably, I'm looking forward to this one, Obi-Wan and Anakin, #1. Yeah, more of their adventures, man. I'm looking forward to that. I highly recommend Lando. If you didn't read Lando yet, that miniseries, check it out. Okay, let's start with Star Wars, baby. My only Marvel title of the week, Darth Vader Annual #1, and it's the only Star Wars title out. They've given us a nice respite from the whole Vader Downs miniseries. This is a one and done. The Star Wars Annual came out last week, which introduced us to a new character. This one, we're not given anything new in terms of it's Darth Vader and his two assassin droids. 000 and BT are on a mission with him to one of these planets in the Outer Rim, known as Shu-torun. And on this planet, Darth Vader pays a visit to basically make sure that the people of this planet are in line and that they are doing what the Empire wants him to do, you know, which is mainly exploiting the area for its resources, you know, precious metals, stuff like that. There's a lot of pageantry on this planet. In fact, Darth Vader needs to meet with this king. There's all kinds of ballroom dancing and stuff like that. The artist that is on this title is new to Star Wars material. It's Lenil Yu on the pencils. Does a very good job. This king has three... He has two sons and a daughter. The daughter is kind of an outlier. The daughter is kind of like the black sheep of the family, and she somehow, some way, ends up helping Darth Vader pay a visit to this king. And in true Darth Vader fashion, he eliminates any obstacles that are in his way. And it kind of just showcases again how much of a badass Darth Vader is. So nothing too new or dramatic in that. Pretty much what you expected. Alright, these variant covers, Harley Quinn, the little black book. I got it again, this time for Harley Quinn number 23. It's a crapshoot, baby. You don't know if you're going to be getting the penciled version variant, the inked version variant, or the completed covered, penciled, and inked version. So let's open this baby up. I've gotten two penciled versions so far. I got a Green Lantern Darwin Cook one, which I love. And then last week I got a Batman Alex Ross penciled version, which was excellent. It was amazing. It had a Joker on there and Harley Quinn and Batman on there. And it looks like I got an inked one, it looks like. Right? Where's this? Oh my lord. Yeah. I finally got an inked one. See how dark that is? So I got the first inked one, not penciled. And it looks like it's got, I don't know, Harley Quinn from the television series and then the Harley Quinn from the comic book series. And it says she did it. Cool. So I was kind of wondering, I don't know if any version is more rare than the other. I was starting to think that maybe the penciled version was the most common because I got two of those. But what can I say, man? Chad Harding, the artwork for Harley Quinn is always amazing. I always love the faces that he gives her. You got kind of two stories going on in here. Harley Quinn's boyfriend, Mason Macabre, or at least her love interest, was sent away to prison. He's having a rough time in jail. He kind of has a conversation in the last issue with his mom. He's like, Mom, you got to get me out of here. Word gets back to Harley. So Harley needs to devise a plan to get Mason out of jail because he's in big, big trouble. As a matter of fact, I hear that he gets pretty screwed up in this issue. Bad. And it begins with an S and ends with a K, and that's what happens to him. And it's what can happen if you're in prison. The violence continues in this. That's one thing with the new DCU Harley, post-52 Harley, is that she has definitely made a return back to being more violent and more kind of on edge. And I love it. I mean, here she is in prison, protecting Mason. That bloody mass there is Mason. And I think I probably just gave away what probably happened to him. She goes to town in this. Stabbing people in the eye. Really screwing people up. So she certainly has not lost her edge. The Gang of Harleys also make an appearance in this. Last issue, Xena Bendova was brought back to life by her grandson. Apparently Harley and this Xena have had beef. I didn't start reading this series until about, issue number 12 or 13, so I kind of missed that stuff. I guess all that stuff began back in issue number 6. So Xena Bendova has a huge vendetta out for Harley, and Harley recruits the Gang of Harleys to help her. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. again, I'm loving the direction that they're going with Harley. I love that they kind of got her back on edge. And, you know, she's like this woman who has very antisocial traits. And like a lot of antisocial individuals, they can be very charming. And they, you know, it can kind of be that the charm takes over so much that you kind of look over some evil things that they may do, such as killing people. I mean, at least in the comic book world, I'm willing to overlook that. Maybe not so much in real life. Okay! Another big series that I'm enjoying very much, whose character is very confusing. Martian Manhunter. And there is the manifestation, finally, the true manifestation of the Martian Manhunter. Mars has now kind of collided into Earth, I guess interdimensionally. There was a mistake. Martian Manhunter needed to perform some sort of ancient Martian blood ritual to bring the living Mars, an older Mars from a different time when Mars was alive, back to life. In doing this, it was supposed to destroy Earth. Well, something went wrong in this ritual, and now this living Mars is occupying Earth at the same time. So Earth did not get fully destroyed. It's kind of like this weird, I guess, interdimensional thing, parallel universe thing going on. And Martian Manhunter has done a very interesting thing with himself. He was able to split himself up into different personalities to perform different tasks and to protect himself from certain things. And now these different personas have now become kind of self-aware that they are the Martian Manhunter, but they're not. It's very, very strange. It's kind of hard for me to explain. But some of these portions of the Martian Manhunter, like Mr. Biscuits and, oh my God, this old guy who thinks he's a superhero. I can't remember his name. This guy who has like a tablecloth for a cape and stuff. He's a real character. I don't know what his deal is. I can't remember his name. They all kind of team up and they're kind of like looking for answers. They're like, John, wait, we need answers. How can we be here with you if we are you? See what I'm saying? So I hope I kind of explained that good enough. I probably didn't. But I guess lo and behold, because this ritual got all screwed up, that Mars is on borrowed time again. Mars is again on borrowed time. Actually, these personalities, these different segments of John Jones are being picked up by Martians. They're being viewed as invaders. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. One of the personalities of John Jones is an FBI agent. It's really funny. He kind of whips out his ID and he's like, "You guys stop right now. I'm with the FBI." And kind of has like a shades of an X-Files moment. And if you do remember the little girl in the start of this city who kind of hung out with Mr. Biscuits and helped Mr. Biscuits out, well, she's all grown up and is now, I guess, some kind of crazy Martian superhero or something. I don't know what's going on. So, pretty confusing. That book can be pretty confusing, but I do enjoy it. Okay, Descender number 8. This is a great book. The Trials and Tribulations of Boy Robot, Tim 21. Jeff Lemire, who is the writer in this. Dustin Gwynn, the artist. Jeff Lemire is just such a good writer. The way that he has been able to make you connect with this boy robot, this Tim 21, who resides in a world now where robots are essentially hunted down. There's a group of bounty hunters that have decided to take on the tag, which is the bounty, another name for bounty, the tag of capturing Tim 21. Last issue, we were introduced to this character on the front here, who kind of looks like Conan O'Brien and Han Solo. That is Tim 21's brother. Now remember, Tim 21 was living with a family that was mining ores somewhere in outer space, way out in outer space. Tim 21 was sent to be a companion robot for this family, and especially for this guy when he was a kid. Earth gets invaded, or the UGC, the United Something Council of Planets, gets invaded by these massive robots known as harvesters. Think Pacific Rim times 1,000. These massive robots come down, invade these planets, and kill everyone. And as a result of that, people and aliens around the world just start to hate and resent robots, and they round them up and they kill them. Well, like I said, Tim 21's brother now has become a bounty hunter himself, and now he is working on the tag of Tim 21. So really interesting. One thing that really struck me here in the art with Dustin Gwinn is that they're using a lot more color in this issue, I guess, to kind of transition between, the past on the, the black and white pages and then the present on the color pages. And it kind of delves into the whole background of when Tim 21 was first introduced to this family. I guess Tim 21's brother, I'm sorry I can't remember his name, was really having a tough time living on this planet. He was very lonely. It shows the very first time that Tim 21 is introduced to his family. It kind of shows how Tim 21 doesn't always react the way that his new brother wants him to. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes, where the twist goes. And if you remember, Tim 21 is now hooked up with individuals from the robot Resistance, and Tim 21 is cruising on his way to the home planet of this robot Resistance. Amazing book. I'm really loving Jeff Lemire. Check out Plutonia. It's kind of a story of these group of school kids that find a dead superhero, female superhero named Plutonia. Excellent writing in that as well. Jeff Lemire has a great ability to really get you attached to these characters. Okay, Dark Horse Comics, B.P.R.D, Hell on Earth, number 138. This focuses on the Black Flame, a new style Black Flame, doing battle with Johan Strauss in his Vril suit and a very powerful Liz Sherman with amazing pyrotechnics. The end is near. I guess this series has about 9 issues left. I'm not sure when John Arcudi, the writer, is going to be pulled off of this. Again, you have a classic Mike Mignola team on here. Dave Stewart doing the coloring. Lawrence Campbell doing the artwork. I think he's done quite a bit of work on Abe Sapien. Black Flame has tons of power. There's Liz kind of lighting him up there. Doesn't really do too much damage. He kind of just starts cleaning house in this. It's kind of nice, like a nice big classic battle. Panya, the mummy, the ancient mummy here, is trying to help Liz Sherman and Johan psychologically. I guess she's able to kind of connect into the mind of the Black Flame, but that doesn't do too much. They actually have a pretty good confrontation, and it doesn't bear much fruit. That's all I'm going to reveal to you guys on this. Amazing series. I'm getting a bit worried. Arcudi, when he writes a permanent change in this B.P.R.D. universe, it happens. He is the writer that was responsible for penning the death of Roger, the homunculus, who was everyone's favorite, and also turning Captain Damo into the Were-Jaguar, who became one of the biggest nightmares that B.P.R.D. ever had to face. Pick up B.P.R.D. Plague of Frogs, number 3, I think, volume 3, if you want to learn more about Captain Damo and the Were-Jaguar. You probably want to pick up volume 2, too. Pick up all 4 volumes, trust me. Great series. Can't get enough of how great of a team-up book that is. Steam Man, number 3. H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds meets Pacific Rim, of all things, or Voltron, depending upon your perspective. In the last issue, the Dark Rider, we were introduced to his story, his background story, which was kind of like a straight-up parallel to H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds classic. This pale rider, or Dark Rider rather, was actually a human. At one time, there he is standing there on a rock. It's kind of a foreboding character. He invented that time machine. Apparently, this time machine created a split, a tear in the universe. And it allowed these creatures to kind of come in and wreak havoc on this parallel universe, Earth-like world. So much so that the Steam Man right there had to be built in order to fight off these alien invaders, these alien creatures. The Steam Man has a cool ragtag crew, has an Indian tracker, it has an engineer. The captain actually has a history with the Dark Rider. Apparently the Dark Rider killed his daughter. Not cool, right? So the captain and his crew have been going across the landscape for years on end in search of the Dark Rider. The Dark Rider is also crazy enough to kind of travel around the world on his own accord and wreak havoc wherever he goes. Well, apparently in this issue, the Dark Rider has constructed his own version of a giant robot. It is powered by, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this with the glare in the camera. It is powered by those evil Morlock creatures. You see them? Those kind of fucked up looking, cognitively impaired, Chewbacca-like characters. That's who powers his monster. Not the power of steam, but the power of Morlocks. These two have a nice big drag 'em out battle. And I'm really looking forward to seeing who wins in that. So check it out. Steam Man. You got great artwork in here by Peter Kowalski. He did some work on the Nightbreed series that was just out. And then you have Mark Allen Miller doing penning the work. Sorry, I can't talk. I don't know. All right, and then we have Death Head, written by the brothers Zach and Nick Keller. In this issue, we find out that the Plague Doctor, well, first of all, in the last issue, we found out that there is more than one of these Death Head characters. These guys that kind of walk around carrying these masks, wearing these masks. See this guy here? There's more than one of these Plague Doctors. There's actually multiple Plague Doctors. This family found one of these masks in the woods, in an abandoned town in the woods. And this mask, when worn by them, causes, massive psychosis, vivid hallucinations. It also affects people that are even near or in close proximity to someone that has worn the mask. So the whole family has gotten affected by terrible hallucinations. The last issue, too, the small boy in the book, I forget his name, I'm so sorry, I gotta start writing down characters' names. But the boy in the book has visions of this ghostly character here, this young girl. The last issue actually gave her whole background story. It kind of showcased her demise, what happened to her. She's actually able to pull this young man into a place called the In-Between, the Betweens, and it's like a place where he's becomes like a ghost, and he's able to travel around with her. Just some really intense stuff. Now, the father has teamed up with this cop from this seaside town. I don't remember how they paired up, but they team up together and they go into the lair of one of these plague doctors. There they are, kind of hiding out in the rocks, watching this plague doctor go deep into a cave. They want to get rid of him. You know, they're tired of this plague doctor wreaking havoc on their families' lives. They follow him into this cave, and it turns out that they witness this plague doctor walk into one of these coffins, and it turns out that this coffin is a gateway to another dimension. There you go. Cool, right? A doorway. Now, where does this doorway open up to? Of all places, and I thought that this was rather bizarre, it just kind of opens up to this old guy in a room who constructs the masks for them. And this guy is giving Deathhead here, Mr. Deathhead, a hard time. Mr. Deathhead's like, we lost one of our masks. We kind of need you to make another one. And this old guy is like, that's not an MP, that's a YP, your problem. So I'm interested to see where this goes. They focus a little bit more on the daughter in this one, too. They kind of explore her drug use a little bit more. Turns out that she has a friend that she's now romantically involved with. So I'll be really, really interested to see where that goes. And so far, I'm enjoying it. Deathhead's pretty good. Seems like that this is a good renaissance for horror books. You know, I keep, reading forums and stuff, and people are telling me that this seems to be a really great time for horror, the genre of horror, that some really, really great books are out. And I agree. And I may start doing that as a feature, just featuring some of my horror-oriented books, because you guys know I read so many. Okay, Beauty! Image Comics. This is my final comic of the week. Great story, man. Great story. In the last issue, we were introduced to the fact that a company has a cure for the Beauty, and they've been withholding it from the public. Turns out that this cure is highly necessary for Detective Vaughn, one of the detectives on the Beauty task force. He needs this cure in order to get better. The Beauty, in case you were wondering, it's a disease that people want to catch. Why do they want to catch it? Because as in the name, it makes them beautiful until the side effects hit, and then they turn into horrible-looking, death-like people. And sometimes they even spontaneously combust. This book is intense. I love the issues that it explores. Look at this. God Hates Beauty. What does that remind you of? Reminds me of, like, West Baptist Church. Scary, right? If you're not comfortable with male frontal nudity, you may not want to pick this book up. I don't know if I can cover it up. There you go. But if you remove my finger there, yeah, it's really there. So please be comfortable with that, man. Come on, grow up, all right? Lots of gore in here, lots of violence, and I'm just really looking forward to whether or not Vaughn is going to be able to get this cure, whether they're going to be able to track down where the cure is, and then if, in fact, it is the cure for the Beauty, or perhaps it's something even worse. So there we go. An injection does happen. And I guess we're going to just have to find out what happens to Detective Vaughn. Will she be able to get this Beauty eradicated? We'll find out. Jeremy Hahn has written an excellent, excellent story, and I'm enjoying it. I don't think that this is the end of the first arc yet. I think there's going to be one more issue, and then that will be that for that. So check out Beauty. All right, guys. Sorry I rambled a little bit too much. Let me know what you're liking, what you're disliking. Let me pick a cover of the week, people. Nothing really stuck out to me this week. It's going to be a little bit tough to pick one out here. Boy, nothing really that great. Cover of the week, folks. Cover of the week for me. Cover of the week. I'm going to go with the badass-looking Martian Manhunter. Check it, baby. All right, guys. Peace out. Enjoy that Star Wars and let me know what you're doing with that, okay? All right, guys. Peace. Have a good week.